Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my reflection of Dragon Ball Z, the manga, or whatever the fuck I'm calling this. So, there was a pretty important detail that I left out last time when talking about Volume 1, and that is that Piccolo loses an arm. He loses an arm in the fight with Raditz. And at the end of the fight, he gains it back. He regrows it, because that's just a thing that Namekians can do. That's the race that he is Namekians. And that's just like a thing he can do, apparently. So he regrows his arm. Everybody's like, oh shit, they're all dead. And then Piccolo remembers Gohan kicking Raditz's ass, and he takes him to go train him. And while this is happening, Goku is in the afterlife, which they call Otherworld. And he's at the front of the judgment line with Kami, the defender, or the guardian of Earth, and King Yemma, the guy who judges souls. He's just like this big red dude in front of a desk. And Kami is like, hey, let Goku go down Snake Way to go learn from King Kai, who they call Kaio-sama in the manga. And then King Yemma's like, why the fuck should I do that? And Kami's like, oh, because these two guys are going to show up and blow up Earth, pretty much. They're going to destroy the entire planet. Because that's what Saiyans do, is they kill off entire populations and sell the planets that they destroy. So then, from there, King Yemma agrees. He's like, yeah, go do it. And then Goku starts down Snake Way, and it's implied that it takes a couple of months for him to get down. Which he starts running, and then he's like, oh shit, I can fly. And then he starts flying down. And it's at this point in the anime that there is so much filler. Oh my god, it's crazy. There's so much filler. There's like this whole thing about them training with, or about the living people training with Mr. Popo, who is the attendant of Kami, pretty much. The others being Ten Shinhan, who is a martial artist they meet in Dragon Ball, Chaozu, who is his companion, and Yamcha, who is this fucking guy that they meet, who trains with Goku and Krillin. For some reason, he's like in the middle of a wasteland when they find him, and he's stealing shit from people, I think. But they're all training with Mr. Popo. In this, they just train off screen for a while. It's also worth noting that Raditz mentions they have a year, roughly, before Vegeta and Nappa show up. So they're all training, and meanwhile, Piccolo is also training Gohan. And Gohan is not doing well. He's like starving and dying, and he's crying and complaining, because that's all that Gohan does for these first couple of episodes. And then, he like can't find food. Piccolo like leaves him to find his own food and fend for himself. So Piccolo leaves him a couple of apples to eat because he feels bad for him. And then he starts eating them, and he's like, oh no, they're too sour, and that really pisses Piccolo off. So he's like, alright, next time I'm just not gonna do anything. That's the only chance you get, jackass. So then, at night, it happens to be that there is a full moon out. And given that Gohan is half Saiyan, he still has a tail. So Gohan, seeing the full moon, turns into a great ape. And Piccolo is like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do about this? And then there's like a short confrontation where Gohan's a great ape and Piccolo just like cuts his tail off, and then, no, actually, Piccolo doesn't cut his tail off. I'm wrong about that. He blows up the fucking moon. He blows up the moon. Yeah. Yeah. That's like the only solution he can possibly think of for beating Gohan, is blowing up the goddamn moon. Now remember that he blows up the moon, because it will be important later. So after all that shit happens, Gohan is like, oh, and then he falls asleep, I think. I think he falls asleep right after it. And then Piccolo is like, wow, holy shit, I can't believe I didn't anticipate that. Which really does beg the question of why they didn't cut Gohan's tail off to begin with. Which, I mean, yeah, it's like... Fucking Goku knows at this point that he was the great ape that killed his grandpa. He knows at this point, I think at least. I remember him, I think he finds out when Raditz tells him. So, begs the question as to why they didn't consider that to be a problem. Considering they're raising Gohan like he's a normal kid at this point. But that, yeah, Piccolo blows up the moon, and that causes Gohan to return to normal. He, like, passes out. And then Piccolo uses a clothing beam on Gohan. Because, of course, turning into a big fucking monkey shreds all of his clothes. So he uses a fucking clothing beam on Gohan. Oh, Jesus. We're kicking this poor guy's ass. This is really funny. Get him. Finish him off. But anyway. From that point, it cuts back to Goku. And Goku is now at the end of Snake Way. Which there are like 5 or 6 filler episodes in the anime about just him fucking going across Snake Way, and all this shit happens to him that just doesn't happen in the manga. And at that point he gets to the planet at the very end, and he's like, oh, I wonder where King Kai is. And then he finds this monkey. And he's like, oh, you must be King Kai. Because that's a reasonable conclusion, I guess. So then the monkey starts doing monkey shit. He starts, like, dancing around and making monkey sounds. And Goku is like, oh, this must be training. That's a chair. Very cool. And he starts doing it. He starts fucking making monkey sounds and hopping around. And then King Kai comes out, who admittedly is like a bug-looking motherfucker. He's short, he's blue, and he's got 2 great big antennae on him. And he wears like blind people shades for some reason. So then King Kai comes out and is like, what the fuck are you doing, Goku? What is this? Who even are you? Why did you come here? And Goku is like, oh, I thought that the monkey was you. And fucking rightfully, King Kai's kind of weirded out by that. He's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would I be the monkey? So, from that point, Goku explains why he's there, and he's like, oh, you should help me train and teach me what you know. And then King Kai agrees pretty much instantaneously. And he's like, yep, go ahead. And Goku also finds that gravity is way heavier on this planet than it is on Earth. And it also just so happens to be the same gravity as his home planet, Planet Vegeta. Wow, we're about to kill Cell. Holy shit. Wow, yeah, we got him. Fuck. Or they got him. Well, I should say we got him, because I helped quite a bit in that first phase of the fight. Wow, he didn't kill anyone. Fucking loser. Anyway. King Kai, there's a whole bit about him wanting to tell him a joke to train him, and it's just so unfunny. King Kai is unfunny, that is. And Goku, like, accidentally makes a joke that he really likes. And then King Kai is like, okay, I'll train you. Your first task is to catch the monkey. The monkey's name is Bubbles, by the way. And then Goku goes and catches Bubbles. It, like, helps him get accustomed to the gravity on the planet. And he catches Bubbles, and then off screen he learns 2 other techniques that we don't learn about until he first uses them in a fight. So it's at this point that the Saiyans show up. They show up a month earlier than they're supposed to. They show up like a month earlier than they were slated to, or than Raditz told them they were going to. And they show up in, I think it's East City. There's East City and West City. They don't ever talk about North and South City. I think they do talk about South City at some point. But yeah, Nappa shows up. Nappa and Vegeta both show up. Their pods, like, crash into buildings. And then they're like, let's go look for the Dragon Balls. And Nappa, like, clenches his fists and sticks his index and middle fingers out. And he lifts his arm up in the air, and it dissolves the city around them in a massive explosion. And then Nappa starts, like, shooting at empty buildings in the anime or some shit. And that is kind of meant to convey how strong these fucking people actually are. And it does it damn well. So then the Saiyans go out into the middle of the wasteland because they see these high power levels. And also Vegeta tells him not to do that again, because he's like, oh, what if you blow up the Dragon Balls? Because they don't know that the Dragon Balls are impervious to damage, which is stated later on in the manga, I'm pretty sure. And so they go out and they fight. Goku is on his way back from Snake Way at this point. I think they've already wished him back. They've been gathering the Dragon Balls this whole time, too. So I think they've wished him back already. So then Goku is, like, rushing to get back down Snake Way. So that he can get back into the fight, because he's alive again now. He's still in Otherworld, though. They couldn't wish him there. Oh, blue cell. Nice. Level 34. Fucking Christ. This guy's gonna kick our asses. But anyway. Nappa and Vegeta show up to where Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, Chaozu, Yamcha, and Tenshinhan are. And they're like, hey guys, we're gonna fucking kill you. And then they talk about, like, oh, we have to stall time for Goku to show up. This is where the first of, admittedly, quite a few wait for Goku to show up moments happen in this series. And then they start fighting. Well, not yet. They don't start fighting yet. Vegeta is initially like, hey, Nappa, well, why don't you grow some Cybermen for these guys to fight? Which, they don't call them Cybermen in the manga? I can't remember what they call them, though. I'll have to check again. It's something fucking really weird, though. So then Nappa pulls this thing out of his pocket that's got this green liquid in it, and he drips it into the ground. And these little green fucks grow out of the ground. And then Nappa is like, yeah, each of these guys has the power level of Raditz. Which, the gang, having just struggled against Raditz pretty hard, are freaked out by quite a bit. Of course, it's kind of implied that each of them is about as strong as Raditz was in that initial fight. So they're not terribly worried, but there are 6 of them. So Vegeta's like, oh yeah, we can each have one of you fight one of them, so that it's a fair fight. Fair fights which Vegeta does not appreciate for very long. He's not a fan of those for too long after this. So then they're like, okay, let's kill all the Cybermen now. Yamcha, you'll go first. So they have Yamcha fight the Cybermen, and Yamcha kicks the Cybermen's ass a little bit. They're moving super fast. They disappear initially, I think, and Piccolo is like, oh shit, they're moving so fast that we can't see where they are. And then Yamcha beats its ass, and he's like, wow, hand over more of them. I could take on all 6 of these guys. And then the Cyberman gets up, and it latches onto Yamcha, and it blows him up. It self-destructs and fucking kills Yamcha in a sequence that is just genuinely really sad. Again, I didn't read Dragon Ball, but there's this whole scene where Bulma is like crying watching TV while this is happening, because I guess they're just watching this happen on TV back at Roshi's house. But yeah, she's like super upset that this is happening, and she starts crying. She's like having a breakdown while all of this is happening. And it's just kind of sad, even though I have no idea what Yamcha does during Dragon Ball. But they're in love during Dragon Ball, I think. Some shit like that. And then Vegeta's like, aha, we fucking murdered Yamcha. And this is the first of, admittedly, a few of Yamcha's embarrassing deaths. Yeah, he dies repeatedly, as sad as that is. Spoilers, also, for the 30-year-old anime series. So, I can't remember when it is, because this kills the Cybermen, too, obviously. But at some point, one of them beats up the Cybermen. I think it's Piccolo that beats up one of the Cybermen. And Vegeta, he kills it, because it loses the fight. He doesn't let Piccolo kill it. He kills it himself, and Nappa, like, gets mad at him for it. He's like, what the fuck, why did you do that? And Vegeta just, he just puts it off. He's like, I fucking killed it because it was useless to us. It lost a fight, so it deserves to die. And Nappa's upset by that. He's like, yeah, but it was alive, which is the only concern for life that Nappa will ever show. Because if you remember, he blew up an entire city immediately before this. And then Krillin, I think it is, kills the rest of the Cybermen. And then that segment of the fight is over. And then I'm pretty sure from there, I think it's at this point. Hold on, let me actually grab the volume I have here while I'm waiting for someone to revive me, because I have it here right beside me. Yeah, they fight all the Cybermen. They, like, launch this green goo out of their heads. I forgot about that. Okay, so that's how it happens. They have Tenshinhan fight one first, and Tenshinhan beats its ass, and then Vegeta blows it up because it loses. Yeah. And Nappa is really upset about it for some fucking reason. And then Yamcha fights his. Kind of beats its ass a little. And then it kills him. It kills the fucking shit out of him. And that's right, Krillin, like, casts this beam. Oh, I'm fucking dead. That, like, he curves upward after a little bit, and it rains down in a bunch of smaller beams. And it starts blowing shit up. It, like, hits Nappa and Vegeta and fucks them up a little bit. And then Piccolo beats the shit out of one of them, and I think, it's at that point that all of the Cybermen are dead. And Nappa and Vegeta are both fine. They are both unscathed during this encounter. And now it's kind of transitioning into the fight with Nappa, which we will talk about next time, because I actually had less to talk about here than I thought I would, despite the fact that this volume is a bit longer than the first one. I got like half of... I talked about this for like half of the time that I did previously. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video when we talk about Volume 3. Bye-bye.